Thanks for coming by the MinnesotaBlack Robe Regiment channel. I really appreciate the stop by, the view, the comment, the feedback, the pushback, the complaints, the criticism, the critiques, whatever you may choose to offer. I just purely appreciate it. Today I want to talk a little bit from the perspective of a deeper problem that we have here in Minnesota, and ultimately I believe a deeper problem in the country overall, especially in Democrat-controlled states, Minnesota, California, New York, Kentucky, places like that. But here, particular in Minnesota, our governor, Tim Walz, extended his peacetime emergency powers for himself. The Senate made an attempt, with several Democrats joining them, the Republicans, to try and overthrow the governor's decision, and rightfully so, only for the House to rubber stamp the governor, and then to have a couple of people, Republicans, abandon their responsibility and just choose not to vote. If you might as well have done what everybody knows you wanted to do, which was to vote with the Democrats, because you're a shill. Not voting, you're just a shill. Yeah, I said it. So we've all been focused on what the governor's been doing wrong, right? We know that. We know that he doesn't have the power that he's taken to himself, and that a lot of this is all just a ruse, and a lot of it's executed through social pressure, societal pressure, peer pressure, if you will. We know that the governor knows that to tell people he couldn't, or that we couldn't have anyone in our home on Thanksgiving Day that wasn't from our home, was ridiculous, which is why the majority of Minnesotans just ignored his asinine decision and his asinine command. But here's what we have to realize, is that many people didn't ignore that. Quite a few people here in Minnesota responded in fear to COVID, and to some degree they trembled at the idea of breaking the governor's law. Okay, that's what it was. They were afraid that they were going to break the governor's law. And so they didn't do anything for Thanksgiving. They stayed in their homes, they cowered in fear, and they were so utterly thankful to the governor for keeping them safe from the danger of themselves. What I want people to understand is Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison know that what they were doing was patently illegal. They know it was illegal. They were threatening force over Minnesotans. It's a threat of force. When you tell people you will not violate this order under the penalty of a $1,000 fine and 90 days in jail, that's a threat of force. You're threatening to send men with guns and handcuffs into people's private homes to arrest them for nothing other than having a family get-together on a holiday. Now, I don't know of any situations in which that happened. I personally called the governor's tattletale snitch line and turned myself in and gave them my address. I gave them the location and how many people that were going to be here, how many households were gathering together. And I also, quite frankly, told them what time and asked them to come, and they didn't come. So it's kind of a hollow threat, but the threat is still there. The threat of the force of the state being brought against private individuals is terrifying if you think of the implications. But what more? There's something deeper at play here in the entire United States, but especially here in Minnesota. There's something deeper at play. People are now acting as if the governor is so magnanimous in allowing us to do certain things. So on Wednesday, he announced that he was going to dial back a little dial back a little bit on some of his restrictions. And it was very patronizing the way he was saying it. It was like he was patting us on our heads as he walked by us as we were sitting at our desk in his classroom. Here's a little reward for you good little students for following my commands and doing what I say. So here you go, have a treat. Now, I'm going to let you have some people over to your house on Christmas, but no more than 10 and no more than one other household. Screw you, Walz. You don't have that power. You don't have that authority. And if that phrase bothers you, if you're a Christian or if you're somehow a member of polite society, you haven't paid any attention to how the founding fathers, predominantly Christian, used to talk to each other. You have no idea what strong, solid Christian reformers like John Knox and others used to say. Things that we say today by way of insult pale in comparison to some of the things that they said. But I want to point out something here. So that's why I'm doing the screen share from the beginning, because I wanted people to be looking at this, because it's better to look at this than look at my face. So here's what's open, right? Takeout and delivery. Okay, thank you. You can't stop that, frankly. And we're starting to see that happen across the state. More and more businesses are saying, we're going to do what we want to do. We're tired of you. You're destroying our lives. Okay. Great grocery and retail. Duh. You're not going to shut down grocery and retail. Why? Because they coat your pan. They line your pockets, Governor. I mean, you know that there would have been revolt. Outdoor entertainment. Thanks. Gee, in Minnesota, outdoor entertainment. What are we going to do? Go play tennis? We're going to play around the golf? Oh, we can't go snowmobiling right now. Can't go cross-country skiing. Can't go downhill skiing. No snow right now. Ice fishing? Not everybody ice fishes. What is outdoor entertainment? Drive-in theater? Drive-in movie? I don't know. We can go walk through light displays. So we got that. Beauty salons and personal care service. Governor, I wish you would use one. Outdoor recreation and outdoor entertainment, I kind of lump those together. Oh, here's social gathering. Outside, you can have 3 households with 15 people max outside. Who's going to have a social gathering at their home right now? For the most part. I mean, there's a few crazies like me who might have a bonfire and have people over, but you don't get to tell me how many households worth of people I can have. You can't tell me how many people I have in my yard. It's a threat of force. You're going to send men with guns to my home to arrest me for having more than 15 people from more than 3 households? Or a total of 3 households, mine and 2 others? Here's the one that really gets me. Inside, you can have 2 households. So your household and 1 other with 10 people max. Again, screw you, Walz. Who are you? Who are you to tell me who I can and cannot have in my home? You can't. Have you forgotten the oath that you took? The Constitution guarantees me the freedom of assembly with whoever I choose, whenever I choose, however I choose, peaceably, especially for the redress of grievances. So I'm declaring my home an autonomous zone, and I'm going to do whatever I want here, and you can't do anything about it. This is idiotic. The fact that people are looking at this and going, look at what the governor's done for us. He's allowing us to have a get-together in our home now. Oh, praise Governor Walz. No, screw Governor Walz. Schools and child care providers are following safe learning plans. Okay. Gyms and fitness studios and rec centers are open for individual exercise. Why couldn't they have been? The gym owners that I've talked to and the people who work at the gyms and the people that work out at the gyms have been telling me that they feel like the gyms and the fitness centers and studios are far cleaner than any freaking grocery store that you go to right now. I want you to let that just sink in for a minute. The governor has not put any curtailing on grocery and retail for the most part. And they're not following you around and wiping down every little thing that you touch. They're not wiping down the pen on the keypad. They're not wiping down the keypad in between every transaction. I've been into places where the keypad is filthy. Filthy. It's not getting cleaned. But gyms and fitness studios are dangerous because the 5 people that are in there in an hour might be breathing more than the 250, 300, 400 people that are in Walmart at any given moment. Youth and adult organized sport practices can resume on January 4th. Thank you, Governor. Thank you so much. You're so kind. But here's one I really want to get to. Here's what I really want to focus on. Open places of worship, religious services, weddings, and funerals. Okay, I'm going to look over here. These are all paused. Okay, indoor dining and bar service. Screw you, Walz. Wedding receptions, celebrations, and private parties. Who are you to tell me I can't have a private party? Indoor entertainment venues, public pools, and swim parks. First of all, if there's an indoor one, let people go. People need to go. The depression levels, the suicide rates, the suicide attempt rates, all of those are skyrocketing in Minnesota. And you want to control things like a private party, going to a movie, going to a swim park, or going out to eat with your friend. Maybe you've got a couple of friends. Maybe you live in separate houses. Maybe you have 2 other couples that you're very close to. You can't have them in your house together anymore because that'd be a private party. And I want to point this out here. So this is shut down, but the governor has magnanimously allowed us to continue to worship. You don't get to tell us that. That's not in the purview of your powers. You can't tell us what we can and cannot do when it comes to worship. Religious services can't be controlled by you, you jackass. And yes, I'm using that word very intentionally and very powerfully. You're a jackass. You can't shut down church. So for you to put it on the list of open, who cares what you say? And the churches that have followed this in Minnesota, who have allowed the governor to tell them they can close and when they can open, and if they can open, and why they can't be open, and what they have to do, and that they have to contact trace, and you need to register and all that. The churches that agree to this on this, they're sinning. They're sinning. One, because God has commanded us to gather together and worship. God has commanded us to gather and to sing praises to him. And now we're being told when you are gathered for worship, you should cover your face, which is going to stifle the singing. Okay? Can you worship? Sure. But the threat of force is hanging over people here. And the governor's, I'm going to let you have your places of worship. Good for, go worship and do your religious. You don't get to make that decision. It's outside of the purview of your power, you moron. And I'm sick and freaking tired of the people who are applauding you for allowing this. Churches should have never been shut down in the first place. Period. We don't need to obey you. Sick and freaking tired of this. This isn't, we're not open because you say we're open. We're open because God has granted us these rights, these liberties. The freedom of religious practice without interference from the governor, without interference from any elected person, without any interference from the state at all. They don't get to do this. It is time that we, the people of Minnesota, stood up and said enough is enough. Take back our small businesses. Take back our cities. Take back our state. Tell the governor, drop all of this or you're out. We're coming and taking you away. metaphorically speaking, you're done. The move to have him recalled, ultimately to have him impeached, should be so strong right now that even the most left-leaning Democrat in the House of Representatives and the most left-leaning member of the Senate in the state of Minnesota would have no option but to listen to the people who grant you the ability to govern us. You govern at the consent of the governed. You should be responding to us and saying, no, the governor should be brought up on formal treason charges for violating the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Minnesota. That's where this needs to go. You want to threaten force against us, threaten to have us arrested for having a get-together, a private party in our home, and then telling us it's okay for you to worship. That's treasonous. That's a high crime. That's a felony, according to the Constitution. He should be arrested. He should be impeached. Not just recalled, he should be impeached. He should be found guilty, and he should be imprisoned. Wake up, Minnesota. Sic Semper Tyrannis.